An official offer has been made for this top free agent, and some major potential CM Punk return plans have been leaked. But first, ever since the announcement that All Elite Wrestling are heading to Wembley Stadium in London, England for the All In event, fans have wondered if some of the United Kingdom's biggest names would be appearing on the show. Top of that list is former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay, who is currently signed with the promotion's Japanese partner, New Japan Pro-Wrestling. After Ospreay has publicly declared interest in appearing on the card, Dave Meltzer has now taken to Wrestling Observer Radio to confirm the aerial assassin is in fact penciled in to appear. And he would say, Will Ospreay, as of a couple of days ago, was booked on the show. I do not know his opponent, I do not know the match, but he was booked on the show. For now, Ospreay is set for a match with Hiroshi Tanahashi at the New Japan Resurgence event on May 21st, with the winner of that advancing to face Lance Archer at Dominion on June 4th, with the winner of that then earning a shot for Kenny Omega's IWGP United States Championship at the Forbidden Door on June 25th. If Ospreay were to advance to the title match, perhaps we could see the third match of a much-wanted trilogy go down at Wembley. The inaugural IWGP Women's Champion, Kairi, would recently reveal that she is not bound to a contract to neither New Japan Pro-Wrestling or Stardom, before expressing an interest in working matches with wrestlers in both WWE and AEW. Taking to Twitter this week, Kairi would release a statement revealing that whilst she does want to travel and meet new people, there's only so much she can do, and she would write, I thankfully get a lot of people asking me to participate more, so I'd like to respond. I feel the same way. I would like to travel around the region because I would like to meet many people. I've already told the company that I would like to travel around the region because I would like to meet many people. However, as a wrestler, I can only tell you what I can do. I leave the decision up to you, and I am looking forward to that day coming and working hard every day to build my body so that I can perform well no matter when the match comes. I learned painfully in America that it is not a given that a match will be set up. I am sure every star player has gone through that path at least once, but during that time, the players who keep going without stopping will get the glory. As a professional, I too never want to just stand still. I will keep going. The Pirate Princess's last match will take place at the Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom event on April 23rd, where she won the Artist of Stardom Championship, the promotion's trios titles, meaning she is still tied to Bushiroad in some way. If or when she returns to the United States remains to be seen. After being on the shelf for 9 months, former AEW Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa would make her All Elite Wrestling on-screen return this past Wednesday on Dynamite, with her being seen entering the office of Tony Khan. A report would then emerge from Fightful Select that this was directly linked to the impending announcement of AEW Collision, the promotion's new Saturday night show that is expected to be announced next Wednesday. Well, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio this week, Rosa may not be ready to return to action just yet, and he would note, Rosa's back is really bad. I was kind of surprised. She's been at the tapings every week for Spanish commentary, and I know that when she's trained in the ring, they showed one of them on All Access, and granted that was months ago, but I've heard still, when she's training, she's hurting a lot. Her back is not better. They reintroduced her, but I don't know what the role would be. I didn't get the impression she was ready to return so quickly. It's worth remembering that the expected debut of AEW Collision isn't taking place for over a month on June 17th, so perhaps this would allow more bonus time to heal up. As for another quick story regarding Thunder Rosa, she would last night release the music video for her new debut single, La Mira Mira, something she appears to have been working on during her absence from the wrestling ring, with the video being available on her official YouTube channel. And speaking of injuries, former NXT champion Bobby Roode has been on the shelf for almost a year, having not wrestled since June 25th, 2022 at a house show in Texas. In November, the Glorious One would undergo C5-C6 neck fusion surgery and is now taken to Instagram to reveal that he has received more work this week. In the post, he would note that he's just had a C4-C5 fusion and wrote, Another trip around the sun and another trip to Birmingham, Alabama. Quite a way to celebrate my birthday. Had a C4-5 cervical fusion to go along with the C5-6 fusion back in November. Most importantly, it was a success thanks to the man himself, Dr. Andy Cordova, and the first-class staff here at Andrews Sports Medicine. Big thank you to my wife for being my rock throughout this entire process. It's been a challenging year, to say the least. Road to Recovery Part 2. There is still no word on how long Bobby will be missing from WWE television, although the priority right now is of course getting back to full physical health before even thinking about stepping inside a wrestling ring. Next, let's get to some free agency activity as we have an update on the status of former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Kota Ibushi, whose New Japan Pro-Wrestling contract expired at the beginning of the year. Since then, reports have revealed that there is widespread interest from across the wrestling world in acquiring his signature, with both WWE and AEW said to have him on their radar. Well, earlier today, Dark Puro Flosion, who is in regular contact with Ibushi, would reveal that the Golden Star does have an offer on the table to return to New Japan Pro-Wrestling, and the tweet would read, "Kota Ibushi brought up to me that there is an offer from NJPW that is in place. Do not rule out a return. He has resolved his issues with a good chunk of people from the promotion." During the final months of Kota's stay in New Japan, he would have a falling out with management and has since been publicly critical of their treatment of him during his time away from injury, although it seems these bridges may have been rebuilt, potentially leading to his return. In a news video earlier today, we discussed a report from Wrestling Observer newsletter that revealed that the AEW return of CM Punk is expected to go down at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois on June 17th, which will be the debut of the company's newest show, AEW Collision. The episode of said show is to have its own unique name, with it being billed as AEW Collision The Second Coming, a sequel to the AEW Rampage First Dance special that saw the All Elite Wrestling debut of the Second City Saints. Well, we now have a report that explores a possible opponent for the straight-edge superstar out of the gate, as according to Fightful Select, Punk himself has been pushing for a match with his old Ring of Honor foe, Samoa Joe, with the duo's now infamous trilogy being the talk of the independent scene back in the mid-2000s, and Fightful would report, "As outlined in recent Fightful reports, CM Punk will be heading up the Collision brand as its featured player. We've been told that a Chris Jericho program has been pitched and that the two even had what was called a productive meeting in recent weeks in Florida. However, we've been told that CM Punk has been pitching another return opponent for the better part of a month. Sources close to Punk have indicated that he's become increasingly interested in working with Samoa Joe. Joe has not wrestled on All Elite Wrestling TV since AEW Revolution, when he dropped the TNT title to Wardlow. However, he's been a regular on ROH TV as their World Television Champion. There's no mention if the match or feud will be for the ROH television title, although I wouldn't anticipate CM Punk fighting for a Ring of Honor belt at this point, with Joe perhaps set to drop it in time for the Second Coming. What this news means for recent talk of a CM Punk-Chris Jericho feud remains to be seen, although it's worth mentioning that Fightful concluded their report by saying that AEW sources are being silent over anything AEW Collision related, and it's unclear if the Samoa Joe pitch is actually happening, or if it's a one-off match or a long-term feud, but it is something that Punk wants himself.